Hi, everyone. This is Hal Krosman with Screenwriting U. And today we're going to be taking AI for screenwriters to the next level. We are specifically going to be working with marketability. And you guys know this, we talked about it earlier, but I want to make it really, really clear what marketability is, because that will change how producers respond to you, how agents and managers respond to you. And it will also, you could take almost the exact script, make the changes that we're talking about today, and it might make the difference as to whether your movie gets made or not. So this is a huge thing that I think is something that in a way is misunderstood out there. So I think today will not only clarify it, but it will empower you to be able to create some pretty amazing projects. We're going to start out talking about what is marketability, then how do you make decisions having to do with marketability. Then we will go to the AI prompts for increasing marketability, and I'll ask you to actually do every single step with us. Now, I sent you guys an email that had the three different AIs that we're recommending at the present moment. Your job was to pick one of those and go get an account so that you could work on it during today as we go through this. I'll walk you through this absolutely step by step. Second thing that I asked you to do was to bring in some kind of project that you're not emotionally connected to, as in you're not like trying to protect as we go through this, because I want you to be able to create something while we're going through the experience so that you actually have a real life experience of this and you're capable from this point on. Fourth thing I'm going to do is give you some final advice at the end about basically that will help you keep moving forward from that point on and help you be able to bring this into your way of thinking and writing and creating. So here we go. The objective. First, to use AI to think outside the box, right? We need to go beyond where we normally think. This is something that AI is great at. And here's kind of what it comes down to. There are small things that if you take that one thing to a new level, it changes the quality of the entire script, right? Like, let's just take something really simple. Let's say you put the characters in a conflict that we have seen 100 times before, and that is just totally the same thing we've seen over and over and over. No matter how you write that, it's still going to feel like that's that same conflict. You make a minor change in it and make it unique in some way, and we experience it as a new and different story. Now, we're going to actually work with things that are even stronger than that. Our objective also is for you to get an experience of each of these prompts, no matter the quality of the answers. So today, we are not trying to go for the perfect answers. We are not trying to go for the right answers. That doesn't matter. Here's what matters. If you can master the prompts, if you can master using this process today and get comfortable with it, then the answers will come once you're working with it on your own. So if somebody says to me, well, I don't like the answers it's giving, that's actually not part of what we're doing today. So please don't worry about that. You will be able to come up with great answers in time. With each prompt, I want you to consider the answers. I want you to focus on the best of the bunch. Like, let's say it comes up with 5 different answers because we ask it to do that. I want you to pick the best, make a decision which one you think is the best one, and move to the next prompt. Now, if you still like your version best, totally okay, keep your version, right? Let's say we ask for 5 different ways to do this concept. And at the end of all of that, you don't like any of those 5. What we would normally do is you would then ask it for 5 more and then check those, and then ask it for 5 more and check those. But for what we're doing today, as long as you can actually go through this process where you ask it for what you need, you look at the answers, you make a decision about what you think is the best one, and then you move to the next prompt. As long as we do that, you're going to be totally fine and you won't get behind. Everything will be good for you. Important, do not slow down if you don't get the perfect answer. You know, all that matters here today is that you learn the process. So let's make sure, does that make sense to everybody? Nod yes if it does. Okay, thank you. Yeah, because once you have this process, really, truly, you could use it to generate hundreds and hundreds of different possibilities. And somewhere in there, you're going to find something that's incredible. And you'll see as we go through this. So what is marketability? This is the key question. And this is the thing that, you know, when I go to Pitch Fest, like back when Cheryl and I used to go to Pitch Fest and get pitched, here's what I would find out. We would get pitched by 40 or 50 people in a row who all thought their script was ready and all thought their project was ready. And I will tell you, almost always out of 40 or 50, maybe 1 or 2 had something that was marketable. Those early decisions they made were the things that caused the problem. Once you've got this, you will be able to make sure that your project is marketable because the AI will help you think outside the box to create something. So marketability is a series of decisions that cause producers to buy your script. This is what it's about, right? It's not about, you know, well, but I like that color, or I like this character I created, or any of those kinds of things, because the producer is going to make those decisions often before they even look at the script. The reason they're looking at the script is because they already decided that this, you know, the pitch was great. I can sell this if the script pays off, right? So this is about them, you know, making that decision. So you want to make the best decisions you can. So these decisions create a high quality pitch. They make it easier for pros to sign on. And I'm just making this so blatantly clear so you got it. The producer is considering marketable decisions, the director, the actors, the funding people. There's a whole bunch of people after you that the marketability decisions are more important to them than the words in the script. So this is, and including, by the way, including audiences, right? Tell me the truth. Last time you decided to go to a movie, did you read the script first? So audiences are making decisions out of just the things I'm about to show you. Every decision we're going to do today is about increasing marketability. So a purpose here. We're going to use AI to brainstorm and to improve the marketing decisions, right? That's the objective. The value is improving marketability increases the chance you can sell. That's what it's about. It's also as a sign of a pro. Now, here's the keys. I want you to just, every time you hear the words marketability, I want you to think the business decisions that hook a producer, right? It's essentially marketability is the script gives the ability for the producer to sell the project without anyone looking at the script. Keep this in mind. Again, I promise you, by the end of the day, you will be able to take almost any project and find a way to make it marketable so that by the time you're done with your pitch, a producer will almost instantly go, oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, I can sell that, right? So that's the objective. So what's a pitch? And I think we talked about this when I pitched this thing. The producer needs projects they can sell, right? They're going to sell to studios, actors, major audiences, and a whole bunch of other business people involved. So a marketable pitch, again, is genre, great title, high concept, the right characters, and a transformational journey, right? So if they ask you, like, if you only have 30 seconds, then what I would just say is the high concept and stop talking. If you have a minute, I would say genre, title, high concept, right? If what they give you is 3 minutes, you can put all of this in. You can easily do all of this in 2 minutes. But again, what it comes down to, and this is the most important thing I'm saying here, is the decisions you make on each of these either make the project more marketable or less marketable. So a person could fill in the answers to all of these and have a project that every producer will consider to be not marketable. You could change the answers to all of these, elevate them, work with them until they're at the highest level they can be, and a producer will instantly jump on it. It makes a huge, huge, huge difference. So it's all about unique, interesting, and all of these together will lure an audience. So if that's the situation, unique, interesting, and together they lure an audience. If your pitch does that, you're in great shape. So let me back up. Back to the pitch fest. You wouldn't believe how many people. Well, let's see here. I'll tell you. At one pitch fest I went to in Los Angeles, I told them up front, here's the most important thing for us. We are working with a funding source that wants high concepts only. Please tell me your high concept up front. 40 people sat down and only 2 of them could tell me a high concept. All the rest told me a big, long story that at the end I could not say yes to. So that's why this is so important. Now, again, if this feels like I'm saying, hey, this is a bad thing or that kind of thing, don't worry about it. Just know we're going to solve all of this. All this is about is just making really great decisions. So making decisions. And sorry, I'm going to give you all this stuff before we start so it all makes sense. Is this idea in line with and a strong delivery of the high concept? So once you know your high concept, once you know that single sentence that is unique in a significant way that will instantly cause people to be interested and want to go see this movie, once you know that, then everything else needs to support and deliver on that. Here's the second thing. Does it fulfill the criteria for the specific job? And let me show you. For a concept, it needs to be a major hook that gives us the story in one sentence, right? So it's not a log line. We're not talking about a log line here that tells us the story. The lead characters need to fit the concept, the story, and feel special for an actor. Now, I'm going to stop right there. I just want you to see there's criteria for every one of these decisions, right? And so our job is to have it fulfill that criteria, and we'll get to that as we go. And then the question is, how unique is this idea? Have we seen it before? And if so, then you either delete the idea or you ask this question. Having to do with X, what haven't we seen, right? Having to do with a high school love story, what haven't we seen? Having to do with rom-coms, what haven't we seen? Having to do with horror movies, what haven't we seen? Having to do with historical documentaries, what haven't we seen? Having to do with inspirational movies, what haven't we seen? So just this question, and make sure you write this down and you just start using it all the time. This, again, takes us outside the box and gives you a chance to create something new and unique. Okay. So today's most important, again, please don't worry about quality right now. Don't worry about it. If anybody says to me, hey, I didn't like any of the ideas I got, I'll just say, I'll say one of probably two things. Either, hey, it's not, don't worry about it, just learn how to do this. If they continue to say stuff like that, or if they say things like this, because sometimes I get this, people say, you know, ChatGPT never gives me the right answer. We're in a world of creativity. All you've got to do is learn how to use these prompts, and you can get it to give you 100 different answers. And somewhere in there, there's going to be 1, 2, or 3 that are unique and interesting and outside the box that we've never seen before and work for your story. So, second, please be open to new ideas. For today, whatever project you brought in, please do not try to keep the project the same. Other than the person who is going to be helping me with the example, I'm actually going to ask her to keep some parts of it the same. But your job isn't to keep it the same. Your job is to keep exploring new possibilities and trying things. And then please eliminate any of the ideas that don't work and elevate the ones that do. So that's the other part of this job. Eliminate the ideas that don't work. Just don't worry about them, right? Like, let's say you ask for 5 concepts and 4 out of the 5 are awful, but you like the last one. Just eliminate the 4 that don't work. Work on the one that does. And finally, your job is to go for improvement, not perfection. You will find perfection over time. So, okay. Now that I gave you all the rules, oh, there's one more. Make a decision with every step. Make a decision on whatever it is and then move forward. Just don't shut down because you don't have the perfect answer. I want you to get a chance to play with this and see what it does. And even if you don't get the perfect answer the first time we do it, I want you to be able to keep doing the process so you can watch what it accomplishes. So before I do this, yeah, now let's just move into it. So first, let me just check. I just want to check with everybody. All right. How many people feel depressed right now? I just want to check. How many feel suppressed? Okay. All right. How many are excited to move forward? Can I see your hands on that one?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good for you guys. All right. Here's what we're going to do. You'll see Lena's in the top left-hand corner right now. If you look on the first page, she's got her hand raised. We're going to go to questions in a little bit. We need to go to the next thing, but Lena's in the top left-hand corner. She's going to be the person who is going to go through the examples with me. So let's do this. Let me first show you the prompt, and then Lena and I will run through it. I'm going to, here just a second. There we go. And here. There we go. There we are. All right. Lena and I will run through it and so that we can show you how it works. And then we will give you a chance to do it with yours. So pull out your project just so you have it. And let's do this. So the objective first is your job was to bring in a project with some kind of concept, right? And I ask you to bring in 3 or 4 things. So we're going to start with improving the concept. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. Our purpose here, take this one sentence hook and make sure it stands out, right? Again, the value, an instant pitch. Right? It hooks producers, it raises your credibility, all of that. That makes a difference. You won't be wasting time working on something that doesn't sell. So from this point on, every time you work on a project, the first thing you're going to do is work with the concept and make sure that it works. So I'm going to give you 2 versions of the concept. I will paste those into the chat in just a moment so that you can see it. Lena and I will demonstrate it first, but here we go. Version A is you're going to work with the same concept, as in you put in your concept, you're going to ask it to give you the same concept stated differently. So in that case, it'll basically say, please take this concept, brainstorm 5 new and unique versions of the concept that fit this genre and have a major hook that could sell the movie to audiences. Present it in 25 words or less. So that's the first version. We'll do that in just a moment. Here's the second version. Version B is if you want completely different concepts based on the same hook, right? So please take this concept, you're going to put in your concept, and brainstorm 5 completely different concepts that fit this genre and have a major hook that can sell to audience, present it in 25 words or less. Now, let's go through it with Lena, and we will, just a second, we will walk through this. So, okay, here's ChatGPT. Just a moment. And Lena, if you can unmute.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for doing this. You're so kind. So for everybody, anytime you're in any of these, you want to create a new chat, right? So you're starting with something new as you're doing it. We're going to take Lena's idea, and so here's the prompt. This is the prompt that I'm going to put in the chat in just a moment. But we're going to take Lena's concept, and this is Lena's concept. Lena, can you read it to us while I'm doing this?
A female hiker is rescued by survivalists who have been exposed to a deadly toxin substance. A Black Ops agent close to cover up the scandal, she becomes a target, forced to fight for her life and expose the truth.
Okay, so that's her concept, right? And our job right now is to ask ChatGPT to give us 5 different versions of that. So let's see what we have here. And I'll make it a little larger so everybody can see. So Lena, why don't you read through those, see if there's anything that you like. And you guys can take a look at them at the same time. So notice this, we just took that concept, and in what, 5 seconds, it gave us 5 different versions, right? So this is just a way to rethink your concept and see it in a different light. And you can try on all kinds of things. Sometimes just doing this will have it highlight something you hadn't thought of, right? So that's that version. Lena, did you see anything that you liked?
I did, but I think we should stick with the one I have since we need some other things for the prompts. But I like number 4 quite a bit.
Okay, cool. So we'll keep that for you. And yes, so for the moment, I think we are going to pretty much stick with what we have. And let's go over here to a new chat. And now we'll do the second version. So this one, just a second, let me go get her concept. This one is we're asking it to give us completely different versions. And okay, let's see what it does. Now, take a look, Lena, see what you think. And you guys, just now, again, here's what I want you to notice, right? It's given us a title, which is nice. You may or may not like any of these. That's totally okay. It's given us different versions immediately. If you were doing this, and which you will in about 5 seconds here. Let me unpin it. There we go. And do the same with me. There we go. So look over to the chat. Let me make sure everybody can see it. There we are. If you just click the little button that says chat down there, I'm going to put both of these prompts in the chat so you can see them. These are 2 different prompts. There we go. So use what I'd like you to do. And I'm going to give you, let me give you 5 minutes right now. And this, by the way, did you see how long it took us? This really does take about a minute maximum. As long as you have your concept, you can fill in your genre and your concept. Just copy the first one, go to your AI, put it in, fill in the genre and the concept, right? Have it create 5, look through them, see if there's anything you like there. Then copy the second one, go to your AI, put that in, fill in the genre and the concept, have it create 5 completely different ones. Just look to see if there's anything you like there. Now, for the moment, we're not going to keep going. I want you to just stay with 5 on each and just see what it does for you. So I'll give you 5 minutes to do that. In 5 minutes, we will get back on and start talking about how it went. And at that point, I'll ask if anybody has any questions. At that point, we'll also go through and just clarify anything you need to know. So you guys ready? Everybody nod yes if you are. Excellent. Ready, go. How? Okay, 1 minute. And by the way, for any of you who already know you have a question, just go down to the reactions button, click it, and then click the words raise hand. Don't click any of those other little things because it won't put you in the top left-hand corner. And we'll start that in 30 seconds. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, let's do this. So if you have a question, go to the bottom where it says reactions, click the reactions button, then click the words raise hand, which will put you in the top left-hand corner. Chris, do you have a question? Chris Kraft. If so, unmute. Oh, and let me just check and make sure. Yeah, you should be able to unmute. Okay, let's go to Jacqueline.
Hi, Hal. Thanks
Hi.
for doing this.
You bet.
So I put in the version A, and it gave me other concepts, but no title. When I did version B, I got a title, but I got different versions. So I
Yeah.
don't know why I did that.
Well,
Because I
here,
would like
actually,
titles for the first one.
here's the weird thing. So our
Yeah.
prompts, neither prompt actually ask for a title.
Ah,
And we could ask it to give us a title with it, right? It just voluntarily did that, and it does it sometimes. If you do want a title, you just add in, the words, and please give me a title.
all right, perfect. Thank you.
So, and other than that, it went well for you?
Yeah, it was so much fun. I can't wait. When you did the demonstration the other day, it had like so many log lines, so many hook episode names. I can't wait to get to that.
Yes. Well, if you're talking about that I think that was on Bingeworthy.
Oh, that's right. So that's what's next.
So
Yeah.
are you in the Bingeworthy class?
Yes, I am. I'm so excited.
Well,
yes.
Don't worry, we'll get to that. That stuff is like, it's just like blows us away. It's astounding. So
yeah, it's like candy.
Yes.
Crack candy for writers. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. Mickey. Bottom left-hand corner on you.
And this is the first time I used an AI.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, it gave me 5 unique. And I have not even think about how to do that script. The contain one, but the 2 sisters, oh my gosh, it blows my mind what it did.
It's astounding, isn't it?
Yeah, this is the first time I even use AI. I used to use it for drawing characters, but not for this. Man, that's some wicked ideals. Very wicked.
Yes. Cool.
Thank you.
You bet. It's going to get even more fun as we go through this.
I can't wait.
Good. All right. Let me just show you something else, just so you guys know on this. Let's go back here. So there are lots of follow-up questions you can use. So here we ask it, right, to give us 5 different concepts. So these are the different ones. If you get to the end of this and you read through every one and you go, no, then you just ask, give me 5 more. And there's 5 more, right? And you can do that forever. Here's what I would say. This is really, really important. You're going to see as we get into this that the more stuff you put on that page, as in the more things you ask it, right now we have 10 different concept versions here. If I had put up 30, we would be completely overwhelmed. It's almost impossible to make a decision in that situation. And I've tested it. At one point, I just thought, well, this will be fun. Let's just have it give us 30. So we did that. And no matter how many times I read through it, I got lost and confused. And that particular thing that I was looking at, I never made a decision. So what I do is I do 5 at a time, right? On something like this, I read through these 5 and I make a decision. Do I like this one? Okay, great. I move it over to an email. This is the one I like right now. Then I ask for 5 more. And then I just go down to these. I'm not thinking anymore about the first 5. I look through these to see if there's anything else I like. Maybe I like this one. And in that case, I just move it over to the email. If I'm not satisfied yet, if I don't think I have a major high concept yet, I'll ask it for 5 more, and then I will do that process again. But I'm only thinking about 5 at a time. That way I can stay out of confusion and keep, my own creative processes working. Hope that makes sense for everybody. All right, let's go to the next thing. And just a second here. So on this one, and yeah, there we are. On this one, I'm going to be asking, well, hey, hang on. It may be easier if I do it this way. Let's go back here. There we go. So on this one, we're going to be asking it to look at our project from the perspective of having a different antagonist, a new antagonist, our new protagonist. So the key here is this. Your protagonist is the person that we're going to spend the most time with, right? This is going to be a complex character that we're going to go on this journey with, and we're going to live with them during that period of time and hopefully remember them after the movie is over. So this character needs to be designed to fulfill the concept, right? And if we design them properly, they'll attract talent, they'll sell the story, and they'll raise your credibility. So here's the prompt. Please give me 5 possible protagonists that could be stronger for this concept, character journey, conflict, and genre. So I'm asking for a little bit of information. I'm going to be getting this from Lena in just a second. These characters should be challenged in a big way by this story. Oh, I left out. And are unique, interesting, and could attract major actors. They should be challenged in a big way by this story. With each character, give me their name, role, core traits, 3 positive, 1 negative, motivation, and wound. So then it will fill in, you're going to fill in all of these things, but not that. So we'll come back to that in a minute. So hang on. Let's do this. So I'm going to start over here. You'll notice I filled in the prompt, right? Now we have to fill in these. Let me go get each one of these. There's the concept. Lena was kind enough to give me her character journey beforehand and her conflict. So there's her character journey. And then here's the conflict. Now, by the way, you can make these character journeys something that are really short. Its character starts here and ends there. Or you could add more details. There have been times where I've put in like 2 paragraphs to explain all the things I thought were really important. On the conflict, you could also make this really short. You could make it's the hiker against, the mercenary, and only one of them is going to live to tell the story or whatever, right? Or you could give more details. Here she gave more details. But remember, Our purpose here, we're asking it to give us 5 possible protagonists that could be stronger. Again, why we're doing this is because your protagonist is one of the keys to selling your movie. So let's see what it does. Okay. So in what, about 15 seconds or so, we now have a bunch of characters to consider. Lena, are you unmuted?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, take a look. See what you think of any of these. And everybody else, just also, as she's doing this, notice what we have here. We've got core traits. Now, they gave us ways to say them, but basically the core trait is resourceful, determined, self-reliant, right? These are the core traits. And the negative trait is stubborn. We have a motivation here. We have a wound here. And that was because we specifically asked for those. If you wanted more, you can ask for other things also. But in 15 seconds, it just created 4 characters or 5 characters that who could be somebody who could be the protagonist in the situation. Lena, are any of these interesting to you, or do you want to?
It's interesting because they're not 4 of that's the hiker. They're all part of the group, which is interesting. It's different. I do like almost all of them they're coming up with. Let me see that. Yeah, so it's like it populated my whole story here with different characters. And
Yes.
fellow hiker. Wow. But as far as the lead character, the protagonist is the first on top. I would elevate her. I think the resourceful, determined, and self-reliant are very similar.
Yeah.
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 Make it a little bit more interesting.
So let's. What are you thinking? Any particular direction?
Well, I feel like if she has the journey of being not trusting, and then she has to overcome that. So I don't know if stubborn is strong enough either. I think I'd like a trait that would make it hard for her to do what she's doing, as opposed to all positive, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like Walter White in Breaking Bad. You know, how can he survive when he is just kicked around? So I'd love for her to make it. I'd love to make it harder for her. Is what I think. So let's. Oh, you have an idea?
Well, I
do.
just put in what you just said.
Okay, great.
Look at this. So they stayed with. Well, they gave us trust issues this time.
Okay. But
All
trust
right.
issues, that's her wound too. So
what do we need to do with Sarah here?
we need to challenge her. Can we challenge Sarah if that's her motivation is to save these guys and bring the evidence back of the toxins? We know we need to make it harder for her. So we need to have a challenge that she has to overcome in her personality, a flaw maybe. Can we do a flaw?
Yeah. Flaw.
Yes, there we go. Dilemma. I like it.
See what it does with that.
Okay.
So I just wanted to show you kind of what's possible. on this. By asking it different questions, you start with the prompt, you get what you get, and then you work with it. And by asking for different things, you can find, different ways to take this. Like here, so it says her flaw is impulsiveness. All right, you might like that, you might not. Lena,
I love all three of them, actually, especially the deeper wound survivor's guilt, because she might be the only one surviving here and she already has it from something else. That would really make it a struggle for her to, right?
Good point. And what Lena just did, I think, is also a big part of this. Don't just take this as answers, as if it's the teacher giving you answers, or if it's somebody who's right giving you answers. What she just did was she took this and it prompted her creativity, and now she's thinking about how that will play out in the story, right? And that's our job. Our job is to first come up with the best possible answers, but then to use them to prompt our own creativity and to take this whole thing to a new level. So, okay, let me.
It became much more interesting right away, didn't she?
I think so. Okay, let me put the prompt in for everybody so that you have this, and I want you to do the same thing that we just did. So here's the prompt inside the chat. You only need to have a couple of pieces of information to do this. And I know Claudia is asking for a couple more minutes, but I want you to be quick on this. This is easy. This is something that only takes, I don't want you to go through all the other things we just did. Just fill these in. So your genre, your concept. You're going to need to fill in your character journey, which is, where does the character start? Where do they end? And then what's the big conflict in this situation? And by the way, I'll tell you, there's two reasons why I want you to move quick. First one is, I want you not to worry about the answers. Are the answers perfect or the right, or those kinds of things? Second is, over time, what we're doing here, in order to get this done in 4 hours, we are going to go through about 8 more of these prompts. So this is, you need to be able to do this. And by the way, we had another group I did this with, that we did 3 minutes on every one of them, and they were fine. So there you are. Take that right now. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. I think that's way too much time, but I'm going to give you 5 minutes, and I want you to, create that, see what you think, play with it. We will talk in 5 minutes. I'll answer questions at that point, and then we'll take a break. So ready, go. Okay, start bringing that to a close. It is, by the way, answering some of these things. Judith says she feels liberated. It is amazing. It's like it's incredible what you can create, right? You're not stuck with whatever just popped into your head kind of thing, you know. If you look at even the things we just did right now, if I was creating these characters with all their traits and everything else and trying to figure out the concept, this is stuff that I'd agonize over for hours, right? And I'd try different things and I'd walk around in it and all these other kinds of things. But the truth is, you know, right now we can create the same thing in seconds that used to take us hours, maybe even days. By the way, so if anybody has any questions, please, yeah, you don't need a group of friends to brainstorm anymore. Just go to the reactions button and then click reactions and then click raise hand. Let's go to Gus up here. Gus, what do you have?
First of all, I like what it's giving me. When I asked it for 5 characters, most of the characters were pretty ordinary, and I realized that as time goes on, we're going to get a lot of very similar solutions. And so, you know, I think one thing that we can all keep in our back pocket is to push AI a little further. And I think it takes us as creative people a little thought to do that.
Well, you're going to be learning, don't worry, you'll be learning these different prompts, but then it's about, yeah, how do you continue? How do you follow up? How do you ask the questions? Let me say one other thing so everybody knows this. Here's the other part. We had a development team 2 days ago, 3 days ago. We're working on something. It's given us fairly average answers. So we went back and elevated the concept. We made the concept more intriguing, and then came back and asked it for characters, and it gave us characters that were so much more alive, so much more interesting, so much more compelling. A lot of times it's about what information do you give it first, right? So sometimes on this, I'll ask it to create some concepts, and then I'll pick one of those and then do what I can to elevate it, to take it to a new level, then put it back in and then ask it to create other concepts based on that higher level one. You're going to say something else, Gus?
Yeah, I as a follow-up to that, I agree with you. I also have found how, based on what we're doing right now and also in the previous AI class, sometimes you get better solutions when you don't make your questions or queries or prompts too complicated.
It just depends. You guys will just keep doing what you think is right. But I will tell you, I have put in, 3-page prompts before.
Mm-hmm.
And or page and a half or something like that, where it was like I gave it so many different details and that kind of thing, and it did leave things out, and it gave me ideas that didn't make sense in the midst of it. So you're right, if you give it too many details, that could be a problem, and you'll be able to tell by the answers it gives. But if what you're trying to do again is to get even more interesting stuff, a lot of it's that garbage in, garbage out. So if you give it average stuff, it's going to give you back some average stuff. If you give it more interesting, right, and you keep raising your game, it's going to give you more interesting stuff. Like you saw when Lena and I were trying to do that, we asked it one question and it gave us back really bland stuff. So then we took that to a new level and asked for more detailed stuff. This is it's a game. You're going to get better and better and better at it as you do it. So anything else on that, Gus? You good?
I will add one thing. In another in another life, I've done research similar to this. You wouldn't call it AI, you'd call it exploiting a database. Along the lines of what you just said, I think sometimes when you try to add too much detail, it tries to respond to that detail, and obviously you get, overwhelmed, or it gets overwhelmed. Sometimes if you back away and make it simpler, you get a broader range of answers.
Yeah. So again,
yeah, that's all.
you guys are going to experiment, you're going to work with it, and you'll see along the way. Diana, you have a question?
Yes. I came in with the concept. I wasn't really attached to it, and then I was playing with it. And when we did part 2 of the first one, and I asked for 5 completely different concepts, I found something that I liked way better. So I want to keep playing with that.
Good.
So I'm ready to just leave the other one behind, but I used my old concept for this exercise just to experience it. But is it okay if I just go with the new one?
Yes.
And just keep building.
Yes. That's the job, right?
Okay.
That's, the only reason Lena and I aren't like, when we did this Lena and I were working together on another project when we did this, within probably 3 times of asking it questions, we were in a completely different world, in a completely different lead characters, and we had found something absolutely astounding. The only reason we're not doing that right now is because we'd have to slow everything down for us to have the conversations in front of you and try to decide and all that kind of thing. So pick whatever works best and keep moving forward.
Got it. Thanks.
And congratulations on that. That's the job, right? That's what we're doing. And once you have all of these prompts, by the way,
it was really cool.
Yeah. Once you have all of these prompts, everybody, you will be able to go in and inside of 30 minutes, make more decisions and higher level decisions than you normally could do in, say, 3 to 4 weeks. And by the way, at the end of that, then this is the objective here, is that by the end of this, what you have is you have made all the decisions that will make your project sell. Then it's just about going through the writing process, and that, which was what the other class was about. Somebody asked about this. Was there a previous AI class to this? Yes. And I wanted to make sure that you guys had this one now. That particular class, we're going to be doing again like October 16th. So if that's something, if you haven't been through the part 1 of this, which it gives you all the skills for creating a screenplay, basically. This one gives you all the skills for making it marketable. But if you haven't been through the part 1, just let me know at some point. Send me a text on Facebook and let me know, and I'll get you the information on it. All right, let's do this. Let's take a 5-minute break. And when we come back, we'll take all this to the next level. Jacqueline, did you have another question?
Yeah. I don't know if I took part 1. I heard the lecture for the Binge-worthy TV. Then this Monday I heard about this, but I don't know if I took part 1, or I don't think I did.
You might not have. Probably about 2/3 of the group here has. The rest haven't.
Yeah.
If you're going to be in the upcoming Binge-worthy TV with AI, you don't worry about it.
Okay.
Because as soon as we go into that, you're going to be getting higher level skills there also.
Okay.
And we will cover everything you need to know to be able to write an incredible TV show. I can't wait for what we're going to do on that.
Okay, so I don't need to do part 1.
No, and in fact, we'll be basically starting both of those classes around the same time.
Okay.
And I'd rather you just, for anybody who's in Binge-worthy with AI, I'd rather you just focus on that. What you will learn in that program will be so incredible. It's just light years ahead of stuff. So
Perfect. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
You're good. Okay. We'll see you guys back here in 3 minutes.